In this video we're going to help you with 5 simple tips to help you enhance your ball striking, hit straighter golf shots and hit longer golf shots as well, because who doesn't want that? Hi everyone, my name is James Robinson, welcome back to Get Good at Golf. Today you join us at Moortown Golf Club in West Yorkshire, home of the 1929 Ryder Cup. What a beautiful venue. We are filming quite a lot of content here today, so make sure you do hit that subscribe button. But how can you play better golf simpler and easier? One of the big things that I want to see you guys do is get a good posture and maintain a good posture all the way throughout the swing. So in order to get a good posture, we want to stand nice and tall, we want to bend from the hips, have a little bit of flexion in the knees. And when I say a little bit of flexion, we don't want to see this. I often see people, it looks like they're trying to sit down on the toilet, but from there, you're not athletic, you're not going to be able to make the swings you want to make, and you're not going to be able to hit the shots that you want to hit. So what we want to make sure you do is maintain that athleticism, so that when you have the flex in the knees, you could just jump off the ground a little bit and have that kind of athleticism. I've said that word twice now. We're getting there. This is the official dad bod now anyway. But once you've got that posture, it's important to keep it. And when I say keep posture, I don't just mean go to the top of the backswing and then regain the posture on the way down. That's really difficult to do. I see so many people do that, and if you record your own golf swings, you might think, oh, my posture looks good at setup, it looks good at impact, so what's the issue? Now, the issue with that is repeatability. If you can try and repeat that and get it right every time, so if I lose posture and then think, oh, I know, try and get it right again, you can see there once again, I've hit a terrible shot, it's cold today, and that's really hurting my hands. It is so much easier if you maintain that posture all the way through the golf swing. So I think about the sequence, I know I'm nice and athletic, top of the backswing, my spine angle stayed pretty much exactly the same. From there I can reverse that sequence on the way down, I can get a nice solid impact position. Look at that posture, the posture is the same, still athletic. Yes, I've rotated my lumbar through that. Is that right, lumbar? I think it is. Lumbar supports your back, isn't it? I've rotated that around and I'm maintaining that posture all the way through the shot. So I haven't stood up out of it, I haven't early extended. If anything, I've just got down a little bit more to then work through the shot, and that spine angle stays exactly the same. So once again, how much better of a golf shot is that? How much better was that strike? It was a lot longer, it was a lot higher, and it was also a lot straighter. That's something which can really help you. Let's get on to that second tip to help you get good at golf.
Right, so point number 2 is now thinking about how do we get into that posture consistently, how do we do this every single time to ensure you hit better shots. So we need to think about your pre-shot routine. So when we're hitting a golf shot, we want to be thinking, right, what is my target, where am I trying to go, where is the wind? I visualise the shot, so if I was going over there to the 150 just left of these trees here, you're going to start to see, right, what kind of shot, what kind of flight do I want to see? I've got a 6-iron, I had to check that, but I want to stand behind the ball, and from here I'm starting to visualise. I'm playing a little bit of a draw with my irons at the moment, so I'm going to see just starting right and working back. Then from here I want to picture something for me to aim in front. So on the golf course you're going to have maybe a divot, you're going to have something down there, and we want to set that club face first before we build the stance. So making sure that my club face is pointing to where my start line wants to be, I can then get shoulder width apart, get into that good posture, and then I take my grip last. So my club's already pointing where I want the ball to start, I then take my grip. So I know then I'm taking a neutral grip to where it is. I know with my swing traits at the moment, my shot is a little bit of a draw. So I've set up everything towards that. So if you're somebody who hits a little bit of a fade, we're going to do the opposite. I'm going to aim just a little bit left. I might set my club face to the red flag, take my stance, take my grip, and we know with your normal shot that will fade back, because start line is essential. You've got into the right posture, but what we start to see is people come in here, right, yeah, I'm going for the 150, yeah, that looks perfect. Let me just hit that. Oh, I've blocked that one. It felt good, but I've blocked it. It's just a straight block. Well, no, it's actually just a straight shot. I've just aimed there because I've not took the time, and a lot of people get into their posture, look over the shoulder as they're shuffling and start to get out of position. Once we're out of position, you can hit great golf shots and you might be striking it well, coming off, you know, you've shot 3 or 4 over your handicap, you're outside of the buffer zone, and you're thinking, well, do you know what, I've hit a lot of good shots, I've struck it well, the flight's been nice, but it's your alignment that you haven't done. So every single time, visualise your shot, think about your shot shape. This is with all your clubs, so whether it's driver, with your wedges, we're then going to come in, we're going to be able to set that club first, build my stance, take my grip, and then the main thing from here is hold your finish and take your feedback from there. Where has the ball gone? Did it start on line? If it did, perfect. Did it overdraw? If it did, you know you might be working on something in your lesson, so you know you need to work on that for your next shot. But because we've aimed correctly, we've started it correctly, we've got a good routine, that ball shouldn't be going too far off target, so we shouldn't be losing too many shots after we've got in James's great setup.
Okay, so we know now how to get into the perfect posture. We know that we need to stay in that perfect posture, but what about the takeaway? How do I take this club away properly so I can work it through the correct positions to the top of the backswing, where I can then have an effective downswing from that transition? Now, I've been really lucky over the last few months and years. I had some lessons off some of the world's best golf coaches, and hopefully you guys who've subscribed are very lucky, because I'm trying to pass that knowledge on to you. So one of the big things that I got, if Chris just moves around to face on here, was from Mr. David Ledbetter himself, trying to keep that left shoulder more connected on the way back while still making sure the club works back on a nice plane. I used to generally get, sorry Chris, I moved you for no reason, I used to generally let that left shoulder come out and the club would get dragged inside here, so I would kind of flip it inside. And Mr. Ledbetter referred to this as, instead of calling it a takeaway, let's call it a move away. So I'm moving the body away here. Once that's in the correct position with the Lambkin sign or the Golf Pride or the Super Stroke, whichever grip you use, kind of pointing up at you here, you can set it, start moving the hips. Once again, this grip is pointing then at your chest. From there, you can load to the top of the backswing. And we spoke about transition earlier in this video. We spoke about sequence, so it's just making sure that sequence is correct, moving from the ground up, so you then get to the ball with a little bit of forward shaft lean, and that can really help you hit much better iron shots. That was absolutely delightful. We're about to go and play here at Moortown, and I hope I swing it like that all day.
So do your hands look like this, where they're nearly white or blue because we're strangling that club? That's the next thing we need to think about when we're over the golf ball. A lot of people start to get tense. You're playing in your competition, you're on that first tee, we're trying to strangle that club because everybody's watching, we want to just get away, everything then gets tense, we can't really get much wrist set, it all gets a little bit short. Although I struck that very well, it's not always going to happen. We're going to then start to see some go left, some go right. We're not going to have any kind of control on that club face, and that is essential to get your golf ball going in the right direction, getting a correct flight, and helping you get good at golf. So we want to think, even on an iron shot, even on your driver, we're starting to think that yes, we want to have it around about 5 or 6 out of 10. So we're not strangling it, the club's not, it's not too loose that the club's going to fly out of your hands. We want to have it nice and easy, 5 or 6 out of 10. So if I was to swing this club, it does have a little bit of play in there. So we know we want to get some kind of release in there. We can get a little bit of, obviously, club lagging behind to help us generate some speed. You see, if I get this very tight, if I go 10 out of 10, I can't really get any kind of swing in that club head. So we see a lot of people start to get low strikes. They don't get any kind of connection that they want. So when you are doing your practice swings, I really want you to feel like it's a little bit looser, or it's 5 or 6 out of 10 like I said there, and you'll feel, if anything, if you start to feel like you get a little bit of tense, one good thing to do is start to think like, right, my hands go first, just to get that a little bit loose, and you see how we've got some swing in there. If I do that, you'll see that my hands will go away first. I can actually feel like I get a little bit of lag in that swing. That ball flight came out much lower, a nice draw, and a solid strike out of the centre of the face. So make sure when you're on that tee box on the first, don't strangle the club, get it nice and loose, even if you have a couple of waggles before, then in over the shot and commit to that.
Oh, delightful. So interestingly enough, Chris, there you've hit a couple of draws.
Yep.
So I'm going to let you finish this as well, because one of the big things that we like to say, especially when you're on the driving range like we are before the round, notice how the driving range is empty, which a lot of them tend to be before people go play golf.
Very true.
But what about the shot that you've been hitting?
Yeah, so you've got to think, a lot of people get onto the first hole, you hit on the driving range, you always hit a draw or you always hit a fade, but you get on that first hole and you're like, oh, I fancy hitting a draw here, so I'm going to set up for a draw. Yeah, I'm going to draw it onto that 150. You make your usual swing. I've hit my usual slice there. That's gone 100 yards right. That's no good to us. It's in the trees, it's out of bounds, it's a terrible strike. You want to be playing with the shot that you see on the range or your normal shot. Don't try and change. You will lower your handicap much quicker by just playing with the shot shape you have. Again, when I was out on tour with different players, we'd get on the driving range, they do the warm-up, they normally hit a little draw. On a given day, they might be hitting a fade. They're just going to play for that shot. They're going to go out there, just commit, aiming just left side of the fairway instead of right side of the fairway. Swing as they exactly are today. We're not trying to change it. And the last thing we want to do is get on the golf course and go, right, to play a draw, I know I need to get my feet there, club face there, shoulders, right, and then from there just try and release my hands a little bit. Oh. Well, it didn't draw unless I'm left-handed. It's gone the opposite way. It's no good. It's a great strike, but it's not helping us lower our handicap. So make sure that when you're on the golf course, play with the shot that you are used to, commit to that, and that will help you get good at golf.